My wife's best friend convinced her I was cheating. I'm 34, working as an architectural engineer for a construction firm in Portland. My wife, Jessica, is 32 and teaches second grade at a local elementary school. We've been married for 6 years, together for 9, and I always thought we had a rock-solid relationship built on trust and communication. Boy, was I wrong. Last Tuesday, I came home from work to find Jessica sitting in our darkened living room. I flipped on the lights and immediately knew something was seriously wrong. Her face was puffy and red, mascara streaked down her cheeks, and she was clutching her phone like it contained nuclear launch codes. Jess? What happened? I rushed over, thinking maybe a student's parent had complained or her mom was sick. She didn't answer at first, just stared at me with this hollow, devastated look that made my stomach drop. Then she started crying again, not normal crying, but these gut-wrenching sobs that seemed to come from somewhere deep inside her. How could you? She finally choked out, her voice barely audible. How could I what? Jess, you're scaring me. Don't play dumb, she suddenly screamed, jumping to her feet. Amanda saw you at the farmer's market on Saturday with that woman. My mind raced, trying to figure out what the hell she was talking about. I had gone to the downtown farmer's market on Saturday to pick up some local honey and fresh vegetables while Jessica was at her book club. What woman? I don't understand. The blonde woman. Jessica was practically hysterical now, pacing our living room like a caged animal. Amanda said you were hugging her and she kissed you on the cheek. She said you looked really intimate and happy together. Amanda is Jessica's best friend since college. They talk daily, share everything, and Amanda has always been a bit dramatic. But this was next level. Jessica, I honestly have no idea what you're talking about, I said, trying to stay calm while my wife was falling apart in front of me. Stop lying, she screamed, throwing her phone at the couch. Amanda wouldn't make this up. She said the woman was all over you. That's when it hit me. There was only one blonde woman I'd interacted with at the farmer's market, my Aunt Margaret, who was visiting from Chicago for the weekend. We'd bumped into each other by complete coincidence and spent maybe 15 minutes catching up before going our separate ways. Wait, was this woman in her 50s, wearing a blue cardigan? I asked. Jessica froze, her eyes narrowing suspiciously. How did you know that? Because that was my Aunt Margaret. She's visiting from Chicago and staying at the Hilton downtown. We ran into each other by complete chance. Jessica's expression shifted from rage to confusion. Your aunt? Yes, my dad's sister. The one who sends us those weird ornaments every Christmas. I haven't seen her in person since our wedding. Jessica wasn't buying it. Convenient excuse. Amanda said this woman was touching your arm and laughing at everything you said. She didn't look like anyone's aunt. I felt like I was taking crazy pills. That's just how Aunt Margaret is. She's affectionate and laughs at everything. Look, I can prove it. I pulled out my phone and scrolled through my recent calls. See? She called me Friday to let me know she was in town. I showed Jessica the call log, but she just shook her head. That doesn't prove anything. You could be naming her Aunt Margaret in your phone to cover your tracks. At this point, I was getting frustrated. Are you serious right now? You think I created an elaborate cover story involving my actual aunt just in case your friend happened to see us together at a public market? I don't know what to believe anymore. Jessica collapsed back onto the couch, fresh tears streaming down her face. I took a deep breath. Look, I can call her right now. She's still in town until tomorrow. Hell, we can go see her at her hotel if you want. Jessica stared at me for a long moment, searching my face for any sign of deception. Finally, she nodded. Call her. Put it on speaker. I called Aunt Margaret, praying she would pick up. After 3 rings, her cheerful voice came through the speaker. Michael, how lovely to hear from you again so soon. Hi, Aunt Margaret, I said, giving Jessica a pointed look. I'm here with my wife, Jessica. We were just talking about running into you at the farmer's market on Saturday. Oh, Jessica. Hello, dear. Yes, wasn't that a wonderful coincidence? I was just telling your Uncle Jack about it. Michael, you've grown so handsome, spitting image of your father at your age. And that farmer's market was just delightful. I bought some local honey for Jack's allergies. Jessica's face was changing as my aunt rambled on, the anger slowly morphing into embarrassment. Aunt Margaret, I interrupted gently. Jessica was wondering about when we said goodbye at the market. You gave me a hug and a kiss on the cheek, right? Well, of course I did. You're my favorite nephew. Though don't tell your cousins I said that, she laughed. Is everything all right? Everything's fine, I assured her. Jessica just wanted to clear something up. Her friend saw us together and didn't realize you were my aunt. There was a pause on the other end. Oh, did she think? Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. Jessica, honey, I promise you I have no romantic interest in your husband. He's my nephew, and frankly, I changed his diapers when he was a baby. Jessica was now bright red with embarrassment. I'm so sorry for the confusion, Margaret. It's nice to hear your voice again. After a bit more awkward small talk, we ended the call. The silence that followed was deafening. I feel like an idiot, Jessica finally whispered. Under different circumstances, I might have comforted her immediately. But honestly, I was hurt and angry. My own wife had been ready to believe I was cheating based on a second-hand report from her drama queen friend. You should feel like an idiot, I said coldly. You really thought I was cheating on you? After 9 years together? Jessica flinched. Amanda was so convinced. I don't give a damn what Amanda was convinced of. I snapped. She saw me with a woman for 15 minutes and immediately assumed the worst. And you believed her without even giving me a chance to explain. I'm sorry, Jessica said, tears welling up again. When Amanda called me, she was so certain. She described how happy you looked, how this woman was touching your arm and laughing. She made it sound like you were having this intimate moment. It was my aunt. I threw my hands up in exasperation. Of course we looked happy to see each other. That's what normal family members do. Jessica nodded miserably. I know that now. I should have trusted you. Yeah, you should have. I grabbed my keys. I need some air. I'm going for a drive. I spent the next 2 hours driving aimlessly around Portland, trying to process everything. The fact that Jessica could so easily believe I was cheating cut deep. Had I ever given her any reason to doubt me? No. But apparently, all it took was one dramatic report from Amanda to shatter her trust completely. When I got home, Jessica was waiting up. She'd ordered my favorite takeout as a peace offering, but I wasn't hungry. We need to talk about Amanda, I said, sitting across from her at the kitchen table. Jessica nodded. I know. I've been thinking about it too. I called her while you were out. And I told her she was wrong. That the woman was your aunt. And that she nearly destroyed our marriage with her assumptions. What did she say? Jessica sighed. She tried to defend herself at first. Said she was just looking out for me. That the woman didn't look like an aunt. Whatever that means. Then she apologized and said she should have gotten more information before jumping to conclusions. That's it. A simple oops, my bad after what she put us through. I told her I needed space. That I couldn't talk to her for a while. I was surprised. Jessica and Amanda had been inseparable for years. How did she take that? Not well. She started crying, saying I was choosing you over her, that she was just trying to be a good friend. Jessica looked up at me. But the thing is, a good friend wouldn't have rushed to tell me you were cheating without being absolutely certain. A good friend would have gotten more information first. I nodded, feeling a small sense of vindication. So what happens now? Jessica took a deep breath. Now, I need to earn back your trust. Because I realize that's what I broke today. Not just your trust in me believing you, but your trust that I know who you are as a person. She was right. That was exactly what hurt the most. The next few days were tense. We were polite to each other, but the easy comfort of our relationship had been replaced by something more cautious and formal. I slept in the guest room the first night, not out of spite, but because I needed space to process. Meanwhile, Amanda was blowing up Jessica's phone with texts and calls, which Jessica mostly ignored. Then, on Friday evening, Amanda showed up at our door unannounced, eyes red from crying. Please, Jessica, she begged when Jessica answered. I made a mistake. Don't throw away 8 years of friendship over one misunderstanding. I was in the kitchen and could hear everything. Part of me felt bad for her. We all make mistakes, but a bigger part was still angry at how easily she'd jumped to the worst conclusion about me. Jessica spoke to her briefly on the porch, then came back inside looking drained. She wants you to talk to me, Jessica told me, to convince me to forgive her. And what do you want? I want things to go back to normal. But I don't think they can, at least not right away. Later that night, Amanda texted me directly. Please help me fix things with Jessica. I'm really sorry about the misunderstanding. I was just trying to look out for her. I didn't respond. Maybe that was petty, but I wasn't ready to help Amanda ease her guilt. Her looking out for Jessica had caused real damage to our marriage, damage we were still trying to repair. The following Wednesday, Jessica came home from work with a serious expression on her face. "I need to tell you something," she said, sitting me down on the couch. "I've been thinking a lot about why I was so quick to believe Amanda." I braced myself, not sure where this was going. "The truth is," she continued, "I think I've been insecure lately. My sister's divorce, my coworker's husband cheating. It's like I've been surrounded by relationship horror stories. And instead of talking to you about my fears, I let them fester." I reached for her hand. "You can always talk to me, Jess. About anything. I know that now. And there's something else." She took a deep breath. "If I ever catch you actually cheating on me, I will skin you alive in your sleep." Despite everything, I burst out laughing. The absurdity of the statement, combined with the dead serious look on her face, was just too much. "Is that funny to you?" she asked, but I could see a smile tugging at the corners of her mouth. "No, it's terrifying," I assured her, still chuckling. "I'm laughing out of fear." "Good." She squeezed my hand. "Because I'm serious. No other women. Ever. Jess, you know I have female colleagues. And friends. And, apparently, aunts." Her expression softened. "I know. I'm not actually asking you to never speak to women. That would be crazy and controlling. I'm just saying I need you to be transparent with me, especially when I'm feeling insecure." "I can do that," I promised. "As long as you promise to give me the benefit of the doubt before assuming I'm having an affair with a family member." She winced. "Deal." As for Amanda, Jessica eventually started talking to her again, but their friendship has changed. They still meet for coffee occasionally, but Jessica keeps certain topics, especially our marriage, off limits. Surprisingly, I'm not bothered by this. There's a small, petty part of me that's actually enjoying having Jessica all to myself for a change, without Amanda's constant influence. Is that wrong? Maybe. But after being falsely accused of cheating with my own aunt, I think I'm entitled to a little pettiness. The whole experience taught us both something important about trust and communication. Jessica learned not to let outside influences affect her faith in our relationship, and I learned that even the strongest marriages can be vulnerable to misunderstandings. And we both learned to be very, very clear about which relatives are coming to town. What an incredible journey this Portland couple went through. From the wife's heart-wrenching breakdown to that pivotal phone call with Aunt Margaret that cleared everything up, this story shows just how fragile trust can be, even in relationships built over 9 years. The moment that really stands out is when Jessica finally believed her husband, but then made that intense threat. "If I ever catch you actually cheating on me, I will skin you alive in your sleep." That mix of humor and intensity perfectly captured how they were finding their way back to each other, using laughter to defuse tension while acknowledging the serious breach of trust. This story highlights several important lessons about relationships. First, we should always give our partners the benefit of the doubt before jumping to conclusions. Second, outside influences, whether it's friends like Amanda or stories of others' failed relationships, can significantly impact our perception of our own relationship if we don't communicate openly about our insecurities. I find it particularly interesting how the husband admitted feeling a certain satisfaction in having Jessica all to himself after the rift with Amanda. It raises important questions about friendship boundaries and how the people closest to us can sometimes drive wedges between us and our partners, especially when they're quick to assume the worst. What would you do if your best friend came to you with evidence that your partner was cheating? Would you confront immediately like Jessica did, or investigate further? And if you were in the husband's position, would you help repair your spouse's damaged friendship or keep your distance? If you found this relationship drama enlightening, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to catch more incredible stories from Reddit. Give this video a thumbs up if you've ever experienced a major misunderstanding in your relationship, and share your own stories in the comments below.